Alrighty, looks like today we've got adventures and hinterlands, but mostly adventures. So what's going on here? Unfortunately, this immediately looks like one of the unpleasant types of page kingdoms. So there's two travelers in adventures, Page and Peasant, and Page is the annoying one of the two. They're both very strong. Page eventually advances up the line to become champion, and then once you get champion in play, you're protected from attacks, but more importantly, you just got unlimited actions for the rest of the game, which is pretty much always worth doing. Certainly true here, because there's no other villages, but there is terminal draw, so the moment you play champion, you can just play all the rangers and then draw your deck and then do good things. The page line, I think, has a few generic things that make it kind of annoying. One is warrior can trash warrior, so you both get warrior at the same time. One person's warrior hits the other person's warrior, and then kills it, and then oops, there's the game, because they have to start back from square one at the most important thing in the game, which is playing page and getting up the line. Treasure Hunter can also be kind of annoying. You play your Treasure Hunter first, and they have to gain a bunch of silvers, which slows them down. So there's a lot of just ticky-tacky things that make the early game of page kind of awkward, where like you've got to do this thing, but this thing can just randomly screw you over in a few ways. But the big thing that I think makes this kingdom look extra annoying to me is Page with good terminal draw and no other villages just creates a really irksome dynamic where you've got to start with Page and you've got to add a bunch of rangers, just because the upside of having a deck with unlimited actions and tons of draw is obviously enormous. But they're going to get to this stage of the game where you've got your hero or your champion, like you're close to playing champion, and then your deck accelerating from there. And you got to add the rangers, like in anticipation of that. And so you got this deck that's a bunch of terminal draw cards, and then like a hero or a champion. And you can't play the terminal draw cards until you've played the hero and the champion, because they're just going to draw the champion dead, and then oops, you got to start over. So you got a deck that does nothing until you play champion, and the moment you play champion, it just goes from 0 to 100 really fast. And that means the game comes down immensely to, did your hero miss the shuffle? Did you find your champion on the top of the shuffle or the bottom of the shuffle? And just like that particular shuffle, it just decides the game half the time. Where, like, if your champion is on the top, you immediately kick off, and then your deck does everything. If your champion's on the bottom, you have to wait like 3 more turns before your deck does anything, and there's just, very little you can do to control that. So this kingdom I expect to be kind of annoying, is my take on it. Hopefully the bad draws don't happen. How to open? I see 3 things I want in the opening. One is Page. Obviously, the goal is to play champion, so you generally open with Page. The other, Amulet for trashing. There's also Plan for trashing. And so I think the opening could be probably any 2 of those 3. So you could plan Page, buy Page, get a trash in before you've even shuffled. That line is great if you find the Page turn 3, because then you trigger a shuffle and your Treasure Hunter is already back in the shuffle, and that's 50% likely. It's a little sad if you find the Page turn 4, because it will trigger a shuffle in itself, but not a huge one. Likewise, you could do plan on Amulet, buy Amulet. That line is also better if you find Amulet turn 3, get in 2 trashes, and then you'd be a little slower to adding Page, but your deck would be super thin, and so once you get the Page, you're playing it very consistently, and you get an Amulet for thinning. Or you just do Page Amulet. All of these lines are much, much happier if you find the stuff on the top and the bottom. I guess Page Amulet, you really want to find Amulet turn 3, but it matters less whether you find the Page turn 3 or turn 4. I think I like the lines with Plan better, just immediate trash. So then I guess the question is, which of those is the higher upside? Turn 3 Amulet, turn 3 Page. I'm going to say Page. I think the deck doesn't need to be super thin. Once you do the Ranger stuff and the Artificers, it's fine if you still have some coppers left to draw, probably. And so I'm going to do the thing that gets me playing the Page a little bit faster at the cost of having a little bit less of a thin deck. Not totally sure about that. They passed out a scheme and bought a fool's gold. What the heck? Hardbot bought a fool's gold and distributed a scheme. I can't even begin to understand what's going through Hardbot's circuitry at the moment. What are you doing? More schemes? I don't need the schemes. So I guess whatever Hardbot's doing, maybe these schemes benefit it somehow. They'll help me eventually for top decking Rangers, but what the hell? Hardbot, are you okay? It's bought 3 messengers. Why do you want messengers in your deck? What are you doing? I mean, it's actually kind of annoying to take these silvers. So I guess that's something. I don't think I play this page. Triggers a shuffle, and then the warrior's not in the shuffle, so I'll just stop here. Do I want to scheme a scheme? I don't want to scheme the treasure hunter, obviously. In fact, this is one of those differences that does not make a difference. Can't really see why that's mattering much. I guess it's better to have it on top than later on, because if the scheme is on the top of the deck, my warrior can't possibly draw it dead. Okay, so Hardbot's just going for fool's golds with a bunch of messengers in the deck, and for some reason a bunch of schemes. Apparently I should have planned scheme. That's on me for not realizing that the dominant strategy here was the scheme rush. Probably still a little early to start balling for messengers. I think I'm just going to trash 2 more. Do I want to exchange these? Well, with what Hardbot's doing over there, the answer is probably no, because it's buying multiple things per turn. And that means the silver gains are going to be pretty severe. I'm just going to leave them. More schemes. Well, if Hardbot's trying to do some weird 3-pile with scheme and fool's gold, I might have to advance some pages so that they get out of my deck and re-up the size of the peasant pile. Well, this is going to eat all of the messengers, but the fool's golds are going to be immune to the warrior attack. Whatever those schemes were for, they're not for that now. Probably about now I start taking rangers. Maybe an artificer first. Again, I can't really use the rangers until I play the champion, but the moment I play champion, I want to have a bunch of rangers in my deck. I think I'm going to do 1 more artificer, and then we'll start balling for rangers every chance we get. And just put this on top, I suppose. Alright, you got 6. What's 6? With Hardbot's deck, I have no idea. More I don't understand. I don't understand at all. Why do you have those? Like, you don't even want to scheme your messengers, because then they just collide with the other messengers. I'm confused. I'm thoroughly confused. Hardbot, it's broken. Something about this kingdom has just destroyed it. Please, please do not... This is exactly what I'm talking about. Hero being on the bottom is just like a whole extra shuffle. God dang it. I mean... There are worse scenarios. Like here we're at least very thin, so a whole extra shuffle is only like a turn and a half. Whereas, like, imagine a no thinning kingdom, like your move plan and amulet, but otherwise have the same kingdom. Then hero being on the bottom is just like 3 extra turns that you just have no way to play around. So if I discard 2, I can trash 1 and buy 1 ranger. Is that better than 2 rangers? I'm not really sure. Yeah, I'm just going to scheme Artificer and all the schemes. If the hard bot had a warrior in the deck, there'd be some risk to this, because putting all this stuff on top would mean it could potentially flip my my hero. It's not even a champion yet, and that would be sad. But it doesn't have one. All right, you've got all the Fool's Golds, or not all of them, but you've got a bunch of them. And there's the Ranger. I don't like this kingdom. I think I would go for Fool's Golds as the payload here, probably, if not for the fact that Hardbot is doing some ridiculous tomfoolery over there and can only benefit from me lowering the piles. Alright, so we've already seen one of the bad things that can happen is hero on bottom adds an extra shuffle to the deck starting to work. Also, drawing the Ranger dead is kind of sad because I could have played it here to get the token set up. Now a lot comes down to whether I find champion early or late into this next shuffle. Sure, I'll trash a copper. Thank you, I guess. And I'm going to have to... I don't really want the treasure hunters all that badly, but Hardbot's being silly over there, and so I got to increase the page pile again. Now that I'm in the shuffle with the champion, putting treasure hunters in my deck isn't so bad because I won't see them until after I've got champion and ranger and all that set up. Please, for the love of God, do not bottom the champion. I'm going to be so sad. I don't want a free page, I don't think, given the state of the piles. I could discard 2 coppers and gain a page and still afford ball for rangers, but then I would lower the page pile. So we're gonna scheme Artificer. Yeah, just scheme all of this. Hardbot still has no warrior for some reason. And I think I'm just gonna send all of these up the line. Please don't gain too many things, Hardbot. Alrighty. The lowest piles now are probably Messenger and Fool's Gold. So you could Messenger, distribute Messengers, Messenger, distribute Fool's Golds, I guess. Or are you just buying Fool's Gold? Never mind. The thing I said didn't make a whole lot of sense. Messenger only triggers once per turn. Okay, well, this isn't really how I wanted the game to go. What do you even scheme in this deck? Is it just gonna slowly top deck all of its schemes every turn? Hardbot, please. Okay, there we go. Thank goodness. Okay, so apparently the treasure hunters weren't so important after all. Well, actually, I didn't want the treasure hunters. The reason I have them is because I wanted the pages pile to be higher, and the price we paid for that was taking a bunch of treasure hunters, which would now just flood my deck with silvers if I played them. Anyways, this should be a win, right? I need to hit Province, and, well, not even Province, right? I would need 9 money and 3 buys, so discard 2, gain 1 Fool's Gold, buy Duchy Estate Fool's Gold. If I top deck a Fool's Gold, I draw it. That's 1 money, 2 money, 3, 4. Yeah, that checks out. Don't need the ranger, got plenty of buys. I could have just bought a province, I guess. You do want to be careful with 3-piling with the travelers, because if one of the piles is page and then you absentmindedly advance your pages, you unpile out on yourself. The 3-pile check only happens at the end of the turn. So if 3 piles were empty during your turn, but you unemptied them, the game doesn't actually end. Here it doesn't matter because page is not one of the piles, but something to watch out for. Okay, yeah, this is just some nonsense. This is not a thing. I don't know what Hardbot was doing. It's rushing down piles, but with no. It's only victory points of the 3 estates. I don't know what it was thinking there. I don't know why it has a million schemes. It doesn't even have that many schemes. It just passed out schemes. I have half the schemes, which benefited neither of us. The hero bottom decking was obviously kind of nasty there. But like, yeah, once you get to champion, your deck does things. You didn't really get to see the things the deck could do because the moment we hit champion, the game ended. But were one to be playing versus an opponent who wasn't goofing off, you would want all the rangers, and then I think probably you would go for Fool's Golds here, I think, as payload, if not for Hardbot lowering the Fool's Golds, I think. I mean, maybe it's just you take more pages and you get silvers for free rather than expending buys on Fool's Gold, and then you have a few silvers from your treasure hunters, and then a few extra warriors, and then the silvers are your payload, and then Artificer can like gain and play distant lands and stuff. But we'll never know because whatever this was happened.